Welcome back to Houston Life. Knowing how to respond in an emergency could mean the difference between life and death. When someone suddenly collapses or stops breathing, every second matters.
It absolutely does. And CPR and safety expert Gail Gould joins us with life-saving tips anyone can use in an emergency. This is from hands-only CPR to what to do if someone is choking. Gail, it's always nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a privilege to be here. I'm so excited.
During the break, you were telling Tessa and me that women are actually less likely to receive CPR.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Explain to our viewers why.
Well, women are less likely to receive CPR, Derek, because people are afraid of touching a woman inappropriately.
Wow. So the chest area is where we're going to be doing the compressions. And that's a terrifying thought that someone wouldn't want to touch you.
It's really terrifying. And men are 26% more likely to receive CPR than women.
That is staggering. That's a staggering statistic. But you have bought one with female anatomy, and these are not dummies; they're mannequins.
Yeah.
That's the proper.
I'm sorry.
Yes, they
mannequins.
have a purpose. And you said you have been really. August is a hot month for teaching CPR because people are going back to school. They're getting the refresh at work. How many people have you taught in the last couple of weeks?
In the past 10 days, I've trained 200 people.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's been so much fun, but it's been exhausting.
I bet it has. And Gail, to refresh our memory, we talked at the top of the show about cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
Yes.
That is what CPR is.
Yes.
By doing these chest compressions, we are actually helping to circulate blood through someone's body, vital organs, including the brain.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Derek. A lot of people out there think CPR is meant to restart the heart. CPR is not meant to restart the heart. CPR is meant to keep the heart, brain, and lungs alive until the device that can restart the heart, the AED, arrives.
Okay.
So CPR is just a holding pattern. You're just artificially, temporarily keeping everything alive until advanced help arrives. And advanced help is the AED. Speaking of the AED, do you all know where the AEDs, the automated external defibrillators, are located in the station?
Our producers told us when they went upstairs.
Yes, I believe we have one on each floor here.
Okay.
But that's a good point.
Where on the floor?
I believe it's near the wellness room in the corner.
Okay.
Do you know the answer to this?
I believe you're correct. I believe it's the wellness
But you know
room.
what? That's an interesting thing. It's sort of like knowing where the fire extinguisher is in the building. We should all know where these AEDs are.
Absolutely, absolutely, because the AED is critical to the person's survival.
Okay.
Especially for teenagers. Teenagers and adults, there's a 90% chance they're going to need use of the AED in order to survive.
Okay, so let's understand what the steps are. In an emergency situation, let's say someone is unconscious or they're on the ground. We find someone like this. What are our first steps?
The first step is you're going to shake and shout. You're going to try and wake them up. Like, hey, wake up. If they don't respond to you, even if they're moaning, groaning, that's not good enough. If they can't open their eyes, look at you, speak to you, I'm going to go, Derek, go call 911 to get the AED. Then all you do is you check for breathing. You're looking for normal signs of breathing. If they're not breathing normally, they're not breathing at all, they are in cardiac arrest. They need CPR.
Normal signs would be what? The chest going up and down?
Up and down, listen for air, feel for air. So I'm going to step up here on this stool.
Me too. I'm going to follow your.
We're going to do hands-only CPR. So everybody take one arm out front, take the other arm on top, stack one hand right on top of another, drop the heel of your hand on the sternum directly between the two nipples, and all you're going to do is push hard and fast in the center of the chest.
And how deep are we going here, Gail?
2 inches, at least 2 inches. It's about 1/3 of the way down to the ground.
And circling back to this idea that we're not restarting the heart here, we're actually physically pumping the blood through the body. I think that's a good indicator to our viewers that you have to be using enough force to be pushing that blood.
That's exactly right, Derek. In fact, if you don't push hard enough, it will not be effective.
Oh my God.
So I tell people, push 1/3 of the way down to the ground, literally, 1/3.
So you're really using your force, which is why you want to stack your shoulders, right?
Yes.
Stack your arms under those shoulders.
Yes, you want to push hard and fast. And this, what we're doing now, is called hands-only CPR. CPR with no breathing. And you can do this on teenagers and adults. Young children, you still need to breathe. But for teenagers and adults, you don't even need to breathe.
Here are some tips, CPR on an adult in cardiac arrest, and these are important points for all of us to keep in mind. No breaths only chest compressions?
Well, you have a choice. You can either do 30 chest compressions and 2 breaths, or you can do the hands only with no breathing. So it's up to you what you want to do.
Wow. Okay.
So there's 2 ways to do it now.
See, I didn't realize there were options. That is something new because I always thought that breaths had to be, but like you said, this is really to make sure that blood is keeping flowing to those vital organs.
Exactly right.
You also say call 911. That's the first thing, to get someone that can help you get that emergency assistance, correct?
Yes, the last thing you want to do is go run for help.
Gail, one of the points we had on this previous slide was you're doing 5 cycles, approximately 2 minutes.
Yes.
Can you clarify what you mean by that? I mean, should we be doing chest compressions until the AED is available or until professionals arrive?
That's exactly right. So if you're going to do the chest compression plus ventilation, Derek, you're going to give 30 chest compressions and 2 breaths, and you will do that 5 times. It'll take around 2 minutes. But what you want to do, you want to keep compressing until advanced help, and advanced help is going to be the AED, whether it's someone in the building that brings it, whether it's EMS that brings it. The minute you stop those chest compressions, the blood flow to the brain stops. You know, the brain starts to die after about 4 minutes without blood and oxygen.
So we got to circulate. Listen, I know we got to get to infants. 2 more questions, like really, really fast. If the person's eyes are open, if we're hearing weird sounds or like hearing cracking or feeling cartilage,
that's normal.
That's normal. So people shouldn't be afraid of that.
Keep going.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because people go, oh no, I'm hurting the victim. Don't worry about hurting the victim.
You're saving their life.
Yes.
Like, it's okay if you hear some cracking.
Yes, and then for a baby, I'll just put the baby on top here.
We go.
For a baby, you have to breathe for them. And you use 2 fingers for the chest compressions on the vertical axis of the sternum, and then you gently tilt the head back, and you give 2 little puffs of air right over their nose and their mouth.
Okay.
So you have to
Define
breathe.
2 little puffs of air. So not a full one of
Like
our
you're
full
blowing
breaths.
out a candle.
Like you're blowing out a
Literally
candle. Here
like
are the
you're
notes we
blowing out a
have for
candle.
CPR on an infant right there on your screen. So 2 breaths, and then tell me the numbers on the chest compressions
30
again.
chest compressions, 2 breaths.
Okay.
I'm not going to put my mouth in there because I'll just get lipstick all over him, but it's 2 little puffs of air, almost like you're blowing out a candle.
Now this is an infant. Is there a step for in between the kids?
Yes. So glad you asked that. So an infant is 0 to 1 year. A child is 1 up to 8, and 8 years and up is an adult in the CPR world.
Oh.
So for a child between the ages of 1 up to 8, you're going to use 1 hand.
Oh wow, 1.
Okay.
You're going to use 1 hand. So for the adult, remember we did 2 hands.
2, yes.
For a child, you're going to use 1 hand, and now you're pushing up to 2 inches.
And again, we're standing on boxes behind this table so that we can be directly above. Do you want to lock an elbow here to increase the force?
You lock the elbow, and with a child, you can actually wrap the other hand around the wrist to help you get more force. But so for a child, you're pushing up to 2 inches. For the adult, you're pushing more than 2 inches.
Such great information.
We're going to keep working on these mannequins. Coming up, Gail is sticking around to refresh our memory on some first aid basics and what we should all have on hand at home. Don't go away. That is when Houston Life returns.
All right, get to pumping.
Get to pumping.
Welcome back to Houston Life. When accidents happen, knowing a few first aid basics can really help you stay calm and take the right action. We are so lucky we have CPR and Safety Lady Gail Gould here talking with us, walking us through some of these must-know skills. Now, we were doing CPR before the break, but now we really are concerned with kids maybe choking on something, and you were giving us great information because this swipe method isn't something that is a go-to first aid or CPR assistance. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, you only want to put your finger in someone's mouth if you see the object. If you see it, sweep it out. But what you want to avoid doing is blindly fishing around their mouth, because especially with a young child, the cavity of their mouth is about that big, and it's very easy to push it farther down.
To lodge it further in their throat.
So the takeaway message here is if somebody is forcefully coughing, they can speak or they can breathe, they are not choking. Do not touch a victim. It's when they stop speaking, stop coughing, give you a high-pitched crowing noise like they can't speak very well at all. They start turning pale. They start turning blue. So for an infant under the age of 1, if that's the case, the saying I like to say is loud and red. Let them go ahead. Silent and blue. They need help from you. So if it's a baby under the age of 1, you're going to take them. You're going to get the head lower than the feet, and you're going to give 5 back slaps if they're choking. If that doesn't get it out, you don't hear anything, you don't see anything, turn them face up, 5 chest thrusts. So this is what you do for anyone under the age of 1 who's choking. All parents need to know how to do this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If they're over the age of 1 and they're choking, let's all do this. Make a fist, place your thumb inside the fist, place the thumb knuckle right above your belly button.
Okay.
You guys have both got it exactly right. Other hand on top. inward upward thrust, almost like you're drawing the Nike swoosh.
Okay.
This is either called abdominal thrust, choking relief. It used to be called the Heimlich maneuver, and it's just in and up. So this is what you do to anyone over the age of 1 who's choking. I've done this 3 times. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people who've successfully done this.
Wow.
What if you're alone, Gail?
Oh, if you're alone, great question. This table worked very nicely. You thrust yourself over the back of a table, the back of the kitchen sink, the sofa,
Right in that same
chair,
spot.
right above the belly button, right above the navel, well below the rib cage, and thrust yourself as hard as you can.
Because we're trying to
such good
force
advice.
whatever is
Yes,
blocking your airway
You're trying
out.
to sort of create pressure on the diaphragm, which will create an artificial cough.
Okay,
Wow.
excellent.
Okay, this is baffling to me, Derek. The fact that first aid kits are evolving and changing, because when it was back in my day, hydrogen peroxide was like the way to go,
Yes.
but that's not the case anymore.
No. We are no longer recommending hydrogen peroxide because it does not kill bacteria, and it may prolong the wound healing.
Seriously?
So now we're recommending
I'm telling you.
Bactine. Anything with the active ingredient benzoconium chloride is acceptable. Hydrogen peroxide is not recommended. Alcohol is painful.
Yes, it stings.
Right. So Bactine has active ingredient benzoconium chloride. So Bactine is acceptable, not hydrogen peroxide. Don't throw your hydrogen peroxide out because it cleans blood out of the carpet really well.
Oh,
Okay, there you go.
That's
So
a good
it does
tip.
have some use.
Benadryl also no longer being recommended.
Yes,
What's recommended instead?
That's a new thing now. You know, people are like, what do you mean no more Benadryl? Benadryl has now been found to cause in older adults dementia, confusion. It's caused cardiac problems. There's even been a few deaths in children. So there's much better alternatives such as Claritin, Allegra, Zyrtec. You would never want to use Benadryl with a serious food allergic reaction because the problem with Benadryl, it masks the symptoms of a serious anaphylactic response. The person can seem fine, and then 3 hours later, they can have a much more serious and deadly response.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to your doctor about it.
That is fascinating. Okay, tell me about nosebleeds. I know Brandon every now and again will get a nosebleed.
He had one yesterday.
What is the correct way to approach a nosebleed?
So glad you asked that. You tilt the head forward, pinch right beneath the bone and cartilage, tilt the head forward, and hold it until the bleeding stops. Now, if the bleeding doesn't stop after like 15 minutes, they probably have a more serious nosebleed from the posterior part of the nose. But there's still a lot of people that want to do it the 20th century way
And lean
tilt the head
backwards.
back.
Well, that's what I would think to do, but you have to
No.
lean forward
You lean
and
forward.
pinch this part.
Yes. Okay,
Counterintuitive,
yeah.
but very important. Gail, we're super tight on time. Narcan, what is it? Why should parents of teens
gosh.
have it at home?
All parents of teens need to have Narcan. This year, around 70,000 Americans will die from fentanyl opioid drug overdose.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is the only thing that will reverse it. So my son actually came home with a box of Narcan from college last year. They gave everybody in the dorm a box of Narcan. All school nurses have Narcan. I tell people, if you have a teenager, have Narcan just
Where do you
in
get it?
case you need. The pharmacy. It's over the counter.
Okay, very important tips.
Saving lives all the time.
Yeah, Gail Gould, we need a full hour with you next time. But in the meantime, we have included a link on our website, HoustonLife.tv. You know the drill. Look for that scene on Houston Life section. Such important information. You can save the life of someone you love or a complete stranger.
All great information.
Yeah.
Okay.